All right, welcome to a very special episode of the Orange and Black Insider Bengals podcast on cincyjungle.com. It's very special, not because of me or, well, I mean, my guy next to me, John's a pretty
Definitely
special
not because
dude,
of
I guess,
me.
too. Yeah, but we've had a couple of big guests this week, and of course, we've teased it for the past couple of days. We are happy to be joined by former Bengals wide receiver Mohamed Sanu. He's joining us to talk about a special project that he's got going on. Mohamed, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, guys. Thanks for having me on here, Anthony and John. Just join the time with the family, trying to, do things within the community and just, staying ready, stay in shape in case anything pops off. But I'm glad y'all got me on the podcast.
Yeah, appreciate that. And hey, man, we talked about it a little bit before we brought you on. I know sleep's at a premium for you right now, but a public congratulations for the new addition in your growing family, man.
Thank you.
Hopefully everyone's happy, healthy, and I know sleep. Like I said, sleep's probably at a premium, but hopefully everything's going well there.
Yeah, Millie, she's been mama up, and my mom is doing great, and the little bro's helping out. So we're grateful.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Mohamed's here to talk about a cool project, Develop Africa. We're going to hear about that, more about that in just a little bit. But we are trying to raise, I know Bengals fans are very generous. We've been able to raise quite a bit of money for other Bengals-related charities or player charities. And, of course, we want to hear more about what he's doing in Africa and the cool things there. But we are going to share this GoFundMe link within the live chat and everything. So we need your support. Mohamed would really appreciate your support, as would we, obviously. But Mo, we're going to talk a little football, if you don't mind, before we talk about what the cool project you got going. And this being the draft weekend, I guess we could kind of start a little bit in chronological order with your career and talk, if you would, about your pre-draft process. I mean, I know there's, it's a wild time. You're interviewing with a lot of people and obviously trying to put your best foot forward workout wise. I guess just if you have some funny experiences or really weird questions, if you're able to share that the team's asked you during that process, we would love to hear that.
I didn't really have any weird questions. Like my pre-draft experience was unique and cool. I mean, the combine was crazy in itself. I had a lot of different meetings. Like even like the meeting with the Patriots was just simple because like I'm known Coach Belichick for beforehand, so like I played with his son Steve, so that meeting was unique. And then the meeting with the Bengals was really dope too. I remember, like they asked me like to remember like certain colors and numbers, and I think I remembered everything but one if I'm getting it correct. But it was just a cool experience. And then even like I was even like on my draft day, I got a prank call, so it was like
Oh,
I
man.
have a unique experience to necessarily tell. So it was cool. Like I mean, I'm grateful. I got prank called to get drafted to the Bengals, and I ended up getting drafted the next day to the Bengals, so which was cool. So
Yeah, that's just got to be a very unique
Who does
experience.
that?
I'm sure you've been asked about that quite a bit. But what I'm curious about is when you did get the first call and you heard it was the Bengals, was it surprising? Like, did you have any inclination that the Bengals were interested in you? What was the
like,
list
I
of
knew they was
teams like
interested.
that?
Well, I knew they were interested. They were one of the teams that came to visit. Coach Herb came to visit. We watched film together when the bubble didn't really work out. We just played catch necessarily because he seen me work out. We were just talking football, and that's necessarily it. But I knew they were one of the teams that were interested in me, so it wasn't like anything far fetched but it was unique, and I mean I didn't really care for it. Like I mean I ended up going where I needed to go anyway, so I was grateful.
Well, speaking with Mohamed Sanu, former Bengals wide receiver, former Falcons, Patriots wide receiver, a guy that had a successful and is still a successful career. We're keeping that phone active throughout the spring and summer as well, as he told us before we took the air here. Mo, I don't know if you know, but I'm going to share this with you here. You currently are one of the more successful, at least statistically per passers in Bengals history. I gotta show you this here. this obviously is one of my favorite plays that you ever had with the Bengals, the big bomb. I think this was your rookie year to AJ against against Washington there. Can you walk us through that play and like what's the play call? I mean, are you getting like super big butterflies? You know, like, man, this isn't, you know, the top job descriptor of my job, but I mean, I don't know. Just walk us through that in
Well,
the
I
huddle
mean,
when that play comes across.
I wasn't nervous at all because I mean it wasn't the first time I ever thrown a football, so like wasn't nothing new to me. I know how to do that and I know how to play football. So it was new to a lot of, I guess, fans and people that's never seen me do it before. And Coach Gruden knew that I can throw and knew that I've done it before. So he was asking me, all week, like he's like, "Hey man, if I call this first play, like you gonna be ready, dude?" Like, and I'm sitting there saying like, "Yeah, I'll be ready." Like, I mean, don't be afraid to call it. You call it, it'll be a touchdown. Like, trying to get him to call it. Like, so it was. I mean, ironically, like I guess my shoulder was sore. Like my shoulder was sore all week from like blocking and stuff.
Oh,
So like,
wow.
I mean, that's part of my game. Like, so I wasn't sure. Like, I was like, dang, I don't know how I'm gonna get it down there. But I mean, game time came around, and it was pregame. I was actually throwing like excessively just to make sure my shoulder was good. So I would just I would play it off like we were just playing catch or whatever. But I was really like making sure it was straight. But it felt great. So I was like, all right, boom.
I mean,
First play of the game, like
Damn
it was
pretty ball, yeah.
yeah. First play of the game, like boom. Like if we get the look, like I'm a candidate to the pass, and then we're gonna run it. But if they didn't come down and cover zero, I was supposed to run the ball. But if they did, that's when I was supposed to can it to the bomb and throw it to AJ.
Yeah, considering it's probably the best deep ball I've ever seen with my eyes, I'm pretty sure you practiced it before. So yeah, I'm not surprised that you weren't nervous about it. But that rookie season, it was fun in pretty unique ways watching it from a fan's perspective, just because that receiving core was so young with you. AJ was his second year. You were drafted with Marvin Jones. Andrew Hawkins was in the slot. You even had Armand Benz. I went to UC. He was a big Bearcats fan, so he was out there too. How's that group dynamic like?
Oh yeah, I love that group. That was my rookie year. We had fun, man. Like I learned so much from Armand and Hawk, and me and Marv were roommates. So me and Marv were like this, and coming in together, we learned so much from each other. We pushed each other, like to get better and better. And then AJ being in the mix, his talent like helped us grow as well. So we were all feeding off each other. Our room, we pushed each other to get better and better. And that's what I enjoyed about that group.
Well, it was a hell of a talented group. Talking with Mohamed Sanu, and he is joining us not only just as a special guest for Draft Weekend, but we want to highlight what he's doing, Develop Africa, and we'll hear about that in just a minute. I got to play another video clip. And by the way, it's not like John and I, believe it or not, we kind of improvise a little bit of our questions and stuff. This was like kind of improvised. And he said, "Oh, I got this question right before you took the air. I've got this question for Mo, and he just asked it. So this is a good segue, I think, for this. A while ago, right before the Bengals made the Super Bowl after during the 21 season, we had the privilege of speaking to this guy right here, Chad Johnson. And I asked him, you were part of a great trio with Marvin Jones, AJ Green, and yourself. I asked him about Chad with Henry, Hoosh, and himself. And then, of course, the current group, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. So I want you to hear his answer when I asked him, and then of course I'd love to get your take on it about his answer and what you feel the best group was. And this may elicit a trademark 2-word Chad Johnson response, but I gotta ask you, Chad, TJ, Slim, AJ, Marvin Jones, most Sanu, Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. Which trio are you taking as the goats there? And I'm thinking I know where you might go, but
right. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go with the Chase Higgins Boyd route simply for the fact they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, still, I think there's a good case for all of you, but that's what Chad had to say.
But they did what none of us could do at that point in time. Like they're all like that's what I would agree with that. Like Chase, Higgins, and Boyd, like they mesh so well together. Like even me, Marv, and AJ did, and so did TJ, Slim, and Chad. Like they all mesh well together, and that's the unique part about it. Like, and that's one thing I love about the Bengals organization. They know how to, draft. They know how to get the right pieces together. You know, get the right players together and feed off each other.
Well, no slight meant by his answer there, but I wanted to share that with you. And obviously, he hesitated.
Mm-hmm.
He had to think, and he didn't pick himself. So,
No, I mean,
yeah.
any rightful sport, you're supposed to pick yourself. But I mean, I would agree with him. Like, I think it would be, Jamar, T. Hig, and Boyd. Like that group. That group is really, really dangerous together.
So all three of those receivers obviously have made the Super Bowl as you did the first year that you left the Cincinnati Bengals. But going to 4 straight playoff appearances before having that run with the Falcons, like what did those losses, or at least those appearances, kind of teach you and help you grow so that you could contribute to a team that made the Super Bowl the next year?
Well, honestly, it's just like the trials and the tribulations, and then learning the learning curve, and knowing like, okay, like the mistakes that you made in the past, the things that you fell short in, your shortcomings beforehand, knowing like how to evolve yourself, and then knowing how to learn from the teammates, learning how to push your teammates. It all takes like time, and learning how to look in the mirror and see what you can correct in your game, because we all have a part in why something isn't successful. Like there's no finger, what I'm saying, that you like, oh, this guy didn't do this guy didn't do that. So it's like the ability to like, okay, put your best foot forward, and how are you able to help this team become better? Like how am I able to make sure my teammate is doing his part, or I'm doing my part, or making sure our communication level is at its highest level. Like that's what's gonna make any team like successful. Like, and that's what I learned from every team that I've been a part of. Like, is that communication level from coach to coach, player to player, player to coach. Like, it has to be, everybody got to be talking the same language, and we all have to be on the same page, and we have to move as one. Like, you can't have somebody else going in the same different direction or thinking that there's something different. Like, if we all working towards the same goal, common goal, like, there's no way we cannot be not be successful.
Talking to Mohamed Sanu, former Bengals wide receiver, and talking about his project in just a minute, Develop Africa, and the great work that he is doing with his mother. So we'll talk about that in just a second there. But Mo, you were on the team. You were on some great Bengals teams, right? You made the the team made 5 straight postseasons. But unfortunately, you were also on the team that had that collapse against the Steelers and all of that. You left shortly after that, but I wanted to ask you. I mean, the team wasn't able to recover after that, right? I mean, mentally they just were not able to recover. Did you get a sense after that game, like, hey, man, this is going to be hard to rebound from as a team, or did you feel like going into I know the offseason played out a different way for you? Did you feel like maybe, hey, it just didn't go our way, and we or they will be back?
I honestly like that. I didn't know, because I knew like at that point in time, like a lot of people wasn't sure if we were all coming back, what this situation may be or not.
Right.
But like I knew like that was one of the opportunities that we had, because that team was really, really good. When Andy got hurt and AJ came in and did a heck of a job, but it was just like Andy, like he built himself like mentally, physically, to get to that point in time, and he was ready. He was prepared. I feel like Andy, he probably would have got it done with exactly with that team, but it's just wasn't in the cards for us. Just the way
Yeah.
like we played that year. You can watch it in the film, the way he had command of the team. We were just different. We were just totally different.
Yeah.
And that year, that's what was the disappointing part. And you can just tell it, like, it sucked the energy a lot, like, out of a lot of people, as if you
Yeah.
could tell.
I remember I know John's got a question for you, but I just sidebar. I remember specifically early in that season, that Seahawks game, and you were a big integral part in that game, making some key catches along with other many other games early in that season too. But to spark that 8-0 start, really special season despite what happened at the end of it.
I remember that. Yeah, with a couple third downs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Marv's popped it off with that seam on the right
Yep.
side for like 40 yards. I remember all that stuff.
Yep.
He's going play by play.
Yeah.
It meant a lot, man. Like that run, that season is will forever be in a lot of Bengals fans' minds. And it was one part of your long 10-year career, very successful NFL career, a career that you attribute to your mom and how she helped you out. What would you say was her biggest impact in just how successful you were as a professional football player?
Well, I mean, just the reason. I mean, without her, I wouldn't even be here to begin with. I mean, she worked her way from Sierra Leone all the way to come to America to give me and my siblings, the life that she felt like we may have wanted or felt like we deserved. Um, you know, Find a way to get her green card and gain her citizenship, and you know what I'm saying, for us to be born here and you know living the American dream. Like a lot of you wouldn't know who Mohamed Sanu is just because of what she went through to have me, my sister, my brother, my other sister here. Like, my oldest two brothers were, she had them back in Sierra Leone. So, like, I mean, they didn't really necessarily have the same opportunities, but like for me, like I was able to, work my tail off to earn a scholarship and to, have a chance to chase my dream and play in the NFL and become what I want to become today, a successful businessman, and doing all the things that I do off the field. Like she was a pivotal point in that because I watched the way she worked her tail off to become the woman she is today. Like I mean, she always she never had anything handed to her. She worked for it, and that's why I work the way I do, and I go as hard as I do in everything that I do, and always try to leave a lasting impression on people.
Well, she did an awesome job because you've made a hell of a name for yourself, my friend. And part of that name is in what you are doing in Africa and Sierra Leone specifically. I'm going to pull up the GoFundMe page. Can you? I mean, you told us a little bit about potentially some of the inspiration behind the idea of what you're doing here, but if you can maybe give us a little bit more backdrop, specifically why this area, why this region, and then of course, what you're needing from Bengals fans and everything to help, so we can help you achieve the goals that you've set forth here.
Well, it's going to be a community center my mom's building in the hometown that she was born and raised in, on the land that actually my grandfather left for her. And so she wants to, build a community, center to help the people in the community. There's a lot of people that don't have the necessary, needs and the tools to further their education to the level that they necessarily want to. Like, for instance, like we have access to have this conversation on a live stream platform, and a lot of those kids don't have any access to the computer or internet to gain, access to information that they're trying to, learn or study or what, like trying to be doctors, lawyers, and how vital a computer is to even learn the things that you need to learn to become what you want to become. So, I know there's a lot of kids that, are growing up in, Sierra Leone, that country, and they're trying to have, you know, that have dreams, that are trying to obtain goals. And I feel like, I know that this computer lab is going to help. The community center is going to help. So there's going to be on the first floor, it'll be a, like a storefront where, people could, have like store property for whatever their business is, and then the second floor will be like a hall venue for people to have a lot of social events because that's what a lot of Sierra Leoneans do. They have a lot of events to promote whatever is going on within the community, and they don't necessarily have a space to do that. And then the third floor will be the community center, will be the computer lab where they'll have their various different classes running out of there, various different activities, for kids to learn how to necessarily navigate a computer,
Yeah.
let alone what it is. So it's awesome. it's been going. My mom's been working on it for like the past 4 years, and I mean, we've been doing a lot of the groundwork for it. And I just feel like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, why not get, you know, Bengals fans, Falcons fans, all of the people that I've, had an impact while I've been playing in the NFL to, you know, have an impact on, the community that I'm from, where I grew up, or where my mom is from, grew up, because I lived there from when I was 3 to 6. So like I've spent time living there, and I know, what the community is like. So it's I just felt like, I've been, in the TVs or the computer screens or
Mm-hmm.
stadiums near a lot of people. So I feel like they, you know, if any of those memories that I had for you guys that meant anything to you, I feel like you guys will want to be a part of what I'm doing and leave a lasting memory, a lasting legacy somewhere and all halfway across the world. Or you'll be able to see your name on a brick or on the wall of a community center in Freetown, Sierra Leone.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And here's what we're going to do. I mean, as I mentioned, we have the link in the live chats for folks there. Go donate. We're going to try and round up some prizes for some folks and kind of draw it random to incentivize people donating, whether it's $12 for your jersey number, whether it's 23 for the 2023 draft, anything like that.
Yeah,
If you're so inclined, give something if you can. We will also, as a show, pool a donation, and as the Cincy Jungle website, we'll pool a donation and send something over to you in the very near future. And here's what else we're going to do, Mohamed. I'm going to make sure that this goes to the Falcons platform through the SB Nation websites, Patriots, and kind of disseminate really throughout the network to really try and get extra legs behind this thing aside from Bengals fans. But I appreciate you coming on, man. Yeah, I know you got. I know you got your hands full with the little ones and everything. I appreciate you coming on, man. And I got to tell you, I mean, we've been able to speak to a lot of cool people on this show, but we're also strategic in who we do invite on because we got soft spots for them. They're personal favorites, at least for me. You were that when you were on the Cincinnati Bengals. I loved watching you play.
man.
Yeah, no smoke, man. I'm serious. I
Means
really enjoyed. Yeah, really enjoyed watching you play. So this means a lot to me personally that you came on the show, and I know my co-host would probably echo those sentiments there. But
the best Bengals tattoo I've ever seen, by the way. The arm, the tiger stretch on the arm. Yeah,
badass. Yeah.
But you didn't know it goes into a tiger head in the back, did you?
I did know. No.
Ooh. Well, if you can, take a picture and tweet it at us, man. We'll take a look at it. But hey, take care of your little ones. Congratulations on the new addition to your family. We're gonna do what we can to get all kinds of funds to you. I appreciate the time, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully we'll catch up soon.
Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate you, John. Blessings to y'all. Hopefully catch up soon. See y'all around, man. Blessings to all y'all, man. Appreciate y'all helping in any way. It means a lot to us, Sanu family. Especially people back home. I know they're going to be more grateful than I am because they're the ones that are going to get the benefits from this. So thank you, guys.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. Take care.
Take it easy, y'all.